Welcome to part 8 of Free Will Summer. This summer I'm trying to watch as many movies that I've never seen before as I can. And today we're watching The Lazarus Effect. And this one I'm a little bit afraid of. Not because I think it's going to be scary, but because I think this is going to end up on 2 of my Letterboxd lists instead of the normal one. It could just be on the Free Will Summer ranking. But what I'm afraid of is it ending up on the movies that fumbled a great premise. Basically, the idea of this movie is that these scientists figure out how to bring things back to life, but then one of them dies and goes to hell, but then they bring her back and she's like, I've seen hell. And then horror movie stuff happens. I think that's a great premise and it has potential to be a great movie. It will be so sad if they fumble this. My other prediction is that Donald Glover will die and I'll be sad. My biggest fear with this movie is that because it's a PG-13 horror movie, it won't even have good kills, and it won't be, like, scary at all. It'll just kind of be stupid. Let's see how it goes, I guess. If you think you've seen me mad before, you haven't seen anything. But before we get into the review, this video is sponsored by hot dogs. Okay, so not only does this movie suck, it completely fails its premise, but I really tried. I tried to record this review. The version you're watching right now, second pass of it. I recorded this video, the whole video, and it was, 1, too long and I didn't have enough storage, but 2, there was a weird editing error. Not an editing error at all. That's a Samsung issue where like a minute straight of this footage was black. And the more I tried to fix it, the worse it got, and I deleted a ton of stuff and it said I was out of storage, and just this morning it was like, oh yeah, no, it's chill. It's chill. I've gone through so much aggravation for this awful movie. So let's start to really unpack it. First of all, the writers of this movie, so stupid. You're all so stupid. The way this movie is written is like it was written by a drunk monkey. So these are smart scientist characters that do incredibly dumb things and say incredibly dumb things. None of the dialogue sounds like it's coming out of a real human, because it's all incredibly canned because it's terribly written. The character that Mark Duplass plays is supposed to be this really smart guy, but you can just tell the writers looked up brain facts on, like, Wikipedia and copy and pasted it into the script. If it wasn't released in 2015, I'd say it's written by AI. The commonly known that it's a myth that we only use 10% of our brains is used as a major plot point. All the reviews are wrong. Everybody hates this movie but doesn't hate it enough. It has just about the stupidest villain design I've ever seen. The moment that's supposed to be scary when her eyes go black was laugh out loud hilarious. She looks like a rejected Spirit Halloween animatronic. Her powers are never fully developed, so we don't really know what she can do. So when she does something in this movie, it just kind of feels out of nowhere. It's unclear whether she's supernatural or if it's all science-based, and it's not in a smart way, it's just giving you conflicting information. And it's trying to be cool by keeping it ambiguous, but it's not cool. It's lame. You're not cool. Almost everything in this movie sucks. The pacing of this movie is actually awful, because you get an hour into this movie and it feels like we're at the beginning of what a standard horror movie should be. The main, like, event of the movie when she resurrects happens, just take a guess, 10 minutes in, 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in, 40 minutes into this movie, in this 82-minute long movie, counting credits. And if it was a bit longer, it would work. but it jams everything that would happen in this movie after that into like 30 minutes. Now, I think the rest of this video, I'm gonna go into spoilers, but like, this movie isn't worth your time, and that's saying a lot because you're watching me. So there's 5 kills in this movie. One of them is in the trailer. It's when the, villain of the movie dies and she resurrects and stuff. Now, one of 3 good scenes in the movie is actually one of those kills, which I was pleasantly surprised by because it is a PG-13 horror movie. So I was expecting them all to kind of be pretty bad. But the way she kills off Donald Glover's character is actually a really good PG-13 kill. So she uses her, Jean Grey telekinesis to force push Donald Glover into, this metal box, which admittedly looked pretty stupid. But after that stupidity, once he's actually in the box, she uses her telekinesis to slowly crush the box with him still inside of it, and he's banging on it and screaming, and the blood comes out of the bottom, and it's simple and it's effective. It's a pretty good kill for a PG-13 movie. But it's those remaining 3 kills that are so stupid. So there's the way Mark Duplass's character dies, where she, crushes his head like Omni-Man, which is pretty cool in theory, but keep in mind it's PG-13, so it doesn't really show it. But her face when she's doing this is so stupid. It looks so cheap and bad. Pretty much every moment of this movie that's supposed to be scary is laughably terrible. The way she kills off the final girl, which she kills the final girl trying to have a deep and cool ending. It's not original at all. But anyways, the way she kills the final girl is the same way, but shorter and less funny, so dock it some points for originality, and then dock it some more points because I can't even laugh at it. But it's the way Evan Peters' character dies in this movie is the stupidest kill in any movie I have ever seen. She uses her mind powers to grab his vape pen and shove it down his throat. That would be something you see in a scary movie. Not a scary movie, one of the Scary Movie films by the Wayans brothers. That is a spoof movie level kill. That's the stupidest kill I've ever seen in a movie. And I was watching it, I was like, okay, there's no way this is the way he dies. That's the way he dies. The way that it's so unsubtle with its religious imagery, it's so heavy-handed. It's not subtle at all. It's oh, look at it's the cross. It's the cross because it's satanic and it's she's a demon, but maybe not. So yeah, the cross in this movie represents obviousness. The dialogue is so clunky and unnatural. This movie also has a plot twist which I honestly don't know how to feel about, because on one hand, it's a little stupid, but on the other hand, it at least surprised me. So throughout the film, we see Olivia Wilde's character, the one that, dies and gets maybe possessed. We see she has some trauma to do with a burning building, and it's revealed by Mark Duplass's character that when she was a little girl, her apartment building burned down, and her neighbors were, trapped in their apartment, and they couldn't get out, and she didn't help them because she was a little girl and she was scared. But before the twist, that scene where he explains it is only, 10 minutes before the twist. So, throughout the movie, it's just this weird hallway. Like, if they explained that at the beginning of the film, the twist would be more impactful because it wasn't based on something that was revealed 10 minutes ago. And oh yeah, that's another flaw I have with this movie. Um, it had potential for great commentary about heaven and hell and how one small action in your childhood can send you to hell forever. But you see, if the information that she didn't help her neighbors was earlier on in the movie, that, commentary would have worked. Although that commentary doesn't work once you introduce the twist. Now, the twist is that she somehow, as a little girl, started the fire, and not, like, somehow started the fire and burned down the entire building. I don't know how she managed that. Also, when the final girl is the only one left alive, the villain, like, force pushes her into this dream world, I guess, which doesn't really make sense because they never really define her power set. So once the final girl goes into her, like, dream world and resolves the main, like, the villain's trauma, I don't remember her name, Olivia Wilde's trauma, that somehow equates to her stabbing Olivia Wilde with the syringe, which kills her, but then not really, because that was a dream. And so Olivia Wilde, Demon Lady, wins and kills the final girl. And that made no sense to me. Now I think there's just, unless I forgot something, two things left to talk about here. And they're actually both positives. So, right before she does the force push into a dream thing, which was pretty weird, there is this actually pretty good scene where the building is dark, and it's just the final girl, with the flashlight. Classic setup where she would walk around for like 10 seconds, and it's quiet, there's no music. Ah! And then the villain pops out and gives us a jump scare, which isn't even really a scare, it's just kind of like startling you. But this movie does that, and they weren't very, like, smart by thinking of this idea, but basically they just did that, but drew it out, and it actually had good tension and had you waiting for the jump scare, and I thought that was actually a pretty cool thing. And the jump scare is actually pretty good, despite the stupid villain design. And then we get to our last thing, which is a positive, and it's how the very end of the movie happens, and I think that was actually pretty cool. So, after the villain kills the final girl, we see, and I kinda saw this coming from a mile away, but she hooks up the Lazarus machine, I guess, to Mark Duplass, and presumably the other ones as well. And she hooks him up, and that's how the movie ends. And I think that's actually pretty cool, because it's the implication that, she makes them all into these demonic things, and then probably takes over the world, and hell rises, and I think that's cool. But now that I'm thinking about it, this makes no sense. What do Mark Duplass and the final girl all have in common? Their heads got crushed. It doesn't make for a good horror villain if he doesn't have a brain. Same thing for Donald Glover, even worse. His body got crushed. What about all the blood that he just doesn't have? The only one that would be salvageable is Evan Peters' character, because he only choked. I guess that's just what happens when I try to end a video on a high note. Yeah, very bad movie. I give this a stupid out of 10. Because the best way to describe this movie is stupid. It is a very stupid movie. This is definitely making it onto that movies that fumbled a great premise. I mean, come on, it even fumbled a cool poster. And it's not even the worst movie I've watched for the Free Will Summer. At least The Lazarus Effect has one gripping scene, one good kill, and a twist that, even if it was stupid, at least surprised me. Oh, and about Mothman Prophecies being the next movie, it's worlds better than The Lazarus Effect. It's just the next least good because I wasn't fully satisfied by its conclusion. Child's Play isn't in the top 4 because I just think even if it is kind of a classic and well not kind of a classic, even if it is a classic and it invented an icon, it is a little stupid. But it's on purpose. It's campy. I don't feel like making this a whole thing, but there's my top 4. 13 Ghosts, They Will Kill You, Ballerina, and How to Make a Killing. And if you want my more in-depth thoughts on all of those, they're all right on this very channel. As for the next movie in the series, well, if there's a good horror movie on HBO Max, I guess I'll just have to watch it. Don't know what that could mean. Hopefully this video is actually being seen by somebody. If it is, success. If this isn't, then I'm talking to nobody, and I'm done with this stupid movie. I'm done. I'm done with this stupid movie. I'm so done with this stupid movie. I'm gonna watch a better movie. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, sorry for the crash out. But yeah, the next video, it will be something better. Wonder what it is.